Wait, hold on. Let me finish.
No, let me finish.
Welcome to Let Me Finish, the weekly podcast where we discuss what the hell's going on in pop culture, current events, and everything else in between.
We are your hosts. I'm Janice.
I'm Stacy.
And I'm Jillian. Grab a glass of wine and let's get started.
Welcome to episode 37 of Let Me Finish.
Woohoo! Yeah, and we have some good juicy stuff for y'all this week.
We're gonna try and keep it civil.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say we had some good juice because we've already been sipping on some stuff over here.
We did. We have like a little Halloween cocktail. So what is it called? Witch's brew. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have a witch's brew
It's
drink in
brewing,
front of us. Stacy don't drink that much, so
she's already feeling it.
Feeling it.
So okay. So we're your host. I'm Janice.
I'm Stacy.
I'm Jillian.
All right. So we're just gonna jump right in. How was y'all's weeks?
Pretty chill. I finally feel like really better, and so I jumped back into my workout routine, and yeah, I struggled. I'm like, damn, only a week off.
That happens though.
Yeah.
But just get right back into it. Keep going so you can burn off some of the lactic acid.
Oh,
That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're supposed to go work out again because it's natural.
Yeah.
And then take ibuprofen after you work out.
I never do. I should start doing that.
It helps with
Yeah,
the
you really
muscle
should.
inflammation.
Yeah.
All right. And then Stacy?
Well, my week was chill. Didn't do much. My kid was off a couple of days for fall break.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah. Okay. So my friend was telling me that he had his daughter for fall break. And I was like, what is this fall break?
Yeah, they
It's
started adding
the middle of October.
A couple of years ago.
Do they still get the full week for Thanksgiving?
And they get 2 weeks for Christmas.
Yeah. I was like, fall break.
Yeah.
Low key, I thought he was lying to me.
No, it's like it's a real thing.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird. Okay. Anyways. And then my week, the only thing is, now I've been wearing my wigs and I've been liking it. So I know how to take them off now. Cause the first time I took one off, I think I took a little too much away from myself with my edges. So.
Okay.
But it's okay. But now I know how to take it off.
Cool.
Use alcohol, y'all.
Yeah.
Alcohol. Don't go get those solvents and those things that they sell you for like $20. It does way more damage than the alcohol is quick.
I don't think I would ever even glue down a wig on I barely have edges.
Even the wig bond, which is
Like,
not glue, which is glueless.
I would just pop it on my head like a hat.
And that's cool. You should do that. A lot of people do. I need something that's gonna.
I don't know.
I need to stay.
I've never actually worn a wig, but I'm just saying.
But yeah, I'm into my wig journey. Thank you, Generation Z. They are the ones that provide me my wigs. I've been doing a couple little promo things for them, so it's been fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the new one looks really
Maybe
nice.
they can hook me up with the wig for my birthday.
Hook you up or purchase one.
Hook me up. We've been shouting them out all the time. Gen Z Beauty.
Yeah, yeah. So it's actually my boss's daughter's boutique. So just so y'all know.
Nice.
All right, but chokeholds. Do we have chokeholds this week?
I have one.
Yeah. Go ahead, Stacey.
Okay, so you know what it is. I told y'all to look into it, read it, so we can discuss it. So my chokehold is this ebony alert. So California, they passed it. It's like the only state that has it. It goes into it. It's already been passed, but it goes into effect January 1st. So essentially what it is, they're basically separating. So the Amber Alert is for missing children. And
they have the Silver Alert for missing elderly
seniors,
people.
right?
Yeah.
So this is for missing children and young adults. I think there's a cutoff age. I'm not sure what it is, but it goes up to teens or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the Amber Alert, which was originally enacted after the incident of the actual little girl named Amber.
Right.
Amber Hagerman, actually
Right.
right here locally in our area. Yeah.
Right. So all along we've had the Amber Alert. Now all of a sudden California wants to have Ebony Alert, which is geared toward missing children of color. And my opinion, when I read it, I just felt some kind of way because I was like, why are we trying to separate ourselves? This is not something to be joyous and happy about. If there's any issues within the Amber Alert system itself, those issues need to be addressed. I don't feel like at this point, 2023, that we need to separate. This should be for about all kids.
It's giving me separate but equal vibes.
Right. And then for me, just because if people are saying, because I know Jill had said the issues because a lot of times black kids aren't getting the Amber Alert.
Very true.
Well, just because you have an Ebony Alert doesn't mean it's going to
go out
regardless.
Appropriately.
And then typically with an Amber Alert, I always look. I never know if it's a black child, white child. I never know. I just happen to, it's an Amber Alert. It comes on. I don't have mine turned off. I always look to see who the child is. You never know, right? Especially if it's close to me. So the thing with the ebony alert, I feel like people will look even less now because obviously they know it's like, oh, well, it's a little black kid or whatever. They'll probably just turn those alerts off.
Once they know for sure. Because to me, and I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
To me, if there's a problem with the alert not going out for little black girls or little black children,
That needs to be addressed.
then there's still going to be a problem when they have its own separate alert. Are y'all going to put the alert out then? I mean, if y'all not putting it out, it's the same people going to be putting out the alert.
It's a deeper issue that needs to be addressed, making sure
Agreed.
that the alert is going out for everyone.
So yeah, when it comes to, when I saw this, I'm like, that's a good idea, because at the end of the day, why that was done, because statistically, when it comes to kids of color, just to get them classified as missing versus quote unquote runaway, it's a lot harder. I feel like when you take time to pay attention and be like, okay, this person needs this attention that they wouldn't otherwise get. I think that's a good thing. That's the whole reason. A lot of times I feel like sometimes we do need our own little special thing. This is the whole reason why we have HBCUs and other things.
Affirmative action, things like that.
It's the same reason why we, when you go to Sephora and you see black owned business, because they don't get the opportunities that others do, as they're, when it comes to white, it's the default, it's the standard. And sometimes we don't get the attention or the recognition or the opportunities that other people do.
But the criteria for having an alert go out is going to be the same.
For me, I think
it will force people, law enforcement, to think harder and give them the opportunity to be like, okay, yes, this is a missing person. I just feel like it brings more attention. When you bring more attention, maybe people will think twice.
Okay, I don't think it's a good idea. I think if there's issues with the Amber Alert system, that we need to address those issues and get law enforcement to put the alerts out for all kids, no matter if you're Ebony, which I hate the name Ebony, by the way, whether you're Ebony or Asian. I mean, there's I don't understand
But then you're asking people to address their bias.
We already are, because there's an ebony alert.
Yes, we need to. There has to be, people need to address their bias. But in the meantime, I feel like there are going to be kids missing when we are trying to make this adjustment.
I get what you're saying, Julian, and I understand why they thought of the idea, but it's not going to change anything.
I don't think so.
In fact, to me, the only thing it's going to do is make things even more divided.
Well, in that case, if you don't think it's going to work, I feel like at this case, it couldn't make it worse. So I think at this point,
I think
at this point, what we should do, which
they're not, if you're biased and now you know what,
just turn these alerts
you're like,
off.
I don't even want to hear it.
So at the end of the day, we're not getting attention anyways. So at this point, even if it means a minuscule increase in attention, I'm here for it.
So you think it's going to be an increase in attention?
I don't know. It just got passed. So at this point, I'm going to reserve judgment as far as if it will work until it's actually implemented. But for me, as long as a person of color who will not get attention before, maybe they'll get a little bit more attention, increase that possibility we get that attention, I'll take it. And I feel like at the end of the day, we do have to kind of pick up the scraps, and it's unfortunate, but any attention I feel I'll take it.
Good. Any publicity is good publicity.
And also, I was not happy with the name Ebony.
Okay, Stacey, hopefully they'll change it in the future for you.
Because why does it have to be an ebony? The initial alert wasn't based on any type of, it was a name of a little girl. It wasn't based on any type of race or anything like that. You're trying to bring attention to missing black children or whatever. When do they ever use the word ebony to classify us? I mean, I know ebony means black, y'all. I get that. But typically when the term ebony, the only time I ever really see ebony is when you're searching on adult sites, when you're searching for
black women.
Yeah, you put ebony. Other than that, they don't classify.
They don't even classify black men on.
So what would you prefer they called it?
I would prefer if we had not done it. Period. But if we have to, call it whatever you call us. What do they call us nowadays? African American, black, whatever. Not ebony.
Yeah, it has more of a slang term to it overall. To me, again, it gives me very separate but equal vibes, and it feels like we're going backwards with our solutions instead of forward and more progressive.
I was turned off when I read that. I was like, excuse me, I don't want to be separated. Is that how y'all feel
about HBCUs?
But HBCUs, here's the thing though.
No, I have a choice on whether I want to go to a HBCU. I have that choice. I mean, it's out there. I have the opportunity. But again, to completely segregate me from other children as a black child.
Let me jump in. Does that mean if there's an Amber Alert goes out, it's only for white kids?
It's for children.
The Amber Alert is for children, but now you want to separate.
You're completely taking this whole race of children out and saying you guys are separate, but you're equal.
Okay, I'll have to look into that.
But you're totally separate. I read the thing.
I don't like that.
So here's another thing.
So what's the criteria to be considered an Amber Alert?
Exactly. And if you just said the black, children of color don't have the same coverage or same criteria to be considered missing, is the Ebony Alert going to even go out at the same frequency?
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
When I actually read it, and the criteria,
the solution seems like we're going.
The criteria
backwards.
for the Ebony Alert is the exact same criteria for the Amber Alert. It's the same criteria, but I guess it would just be for black kids.
Saying when Jillian said the criteria for a child of color to be considered missing, a runaway, or to have the alert go out for them, what it would be the difference? It's the same people putting out the alert.
Could they be on both? Where it would be
Exactly. Are they on both? If they're on both, maybe more coverage.
Okay,
it's not
I can
on
see
both.
that.
They're on.
Okay, we don't have time to look it through.
It's not just black youth. It's also women. So I guess you don't have to be a child, which you do have to be.
There's an age limit.
With Amber Alerts, there is an age limit before they consider it.
There's also an age
youth,
limit
and then what?
It's black youth and women.
But I think there's an age limit on the
It's even worse
as
for
well.
women to me.
So, guys, we need to really move on from this. But I also wanted to add HBCUs. There's tons of white kids that go to HBCUs also.
Yeah, that's a choice. You're saying,
Exactly.
hey,
So
this is what we represent, and this is what we stand for at this school. Come to the school if you want to. That's totally different.
Because HBCUs have been integrated now.
That has nothing to do with the cost of tea in China. Nothing.
Okay, it's one of those things where, as a black woman, I'm just like, if we
want as much coverage as possible. I get that.
Yeah, I just feel like if we can get that extra attention that we would not otherwise, I'll take
that we have pinpointed that we are lacking. That's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying, but I also see what Stacey's saying, where it's like one of those ones you got to kind of wink,
like, are you really helping us here?
We'll see cause and effect, because we'll do this, and I'll reserve judgment to actually see the actual effect if he does help in the end.
Okay.
So I'll reserve judgment on that.
Okay. All right. So Jillian, I know you had a chokehold as well. So let's go on to that one.
This is actually coming out of our family group chat where we discussed Oyster Girl and Cheesecake Factory Girl. I just got to say about these two women. So one,
I didn't see the oyster one.
I didn't see. I
only saw the cheesecake one.
So the oyster girl, she went on a date. She's like pretty much she posted it herself. She put herself out there, where she went on this date with a guy she didn't really like, but she went on there with the intention of eating as much as she wanted, getting a free dinner. That was her sole objective for the date, was to get a free dinner from this guy. So what she did is, when ordering, we're not even gotten to the entree, she ordered 4 rounds of oysters, which there are 12 oysters in each round, so a total of 48 oysters. These potatoes, drinks.
The oysters aren't very filling, so I understand that.
Just on appetizers, the bill was like $200. The guy had one drink and he's like, yeah, this ain't for me. And he dipped out. He left.
Did she know he was leaving, or did he do the whole bathroom thing?
She just kept ordering all this food, all these appetizers. This is not even the main entree, your main meal.
So did she know he was leaving?
He went, he left and never came back. So she got the bill so she had to pay the bill. And I was just like, so at the end of the day, you went there with the intention of using him for dinner, not really saying, hey, there's really not a chance for us making a connection.
And taking full advantage.
Taking full advantage. Like, girl, I understand if you ordered appetizer, entree, and dinner and be like, this isn't
exactly. You're taking full advantage.
But she just went
Ham.
Exactly. And then it was funny. And then, of course, Cheesecake Factory girl, she wouldn't get out of the car because he pulled up to Cheesecake Factory.
So
well, hold on, let me finish because let me give you the context. So supposedly he actually had reservations at a really nice restaurant that wasn't a chain restaurant, but because she took over an hour. He had to wait on her over an hour to get ready, that the reservation lapsed. So he had to find something. He kind of had to scramble to get another place to eat.
Totally his
and she's
her
just
fault. That's totally her fault.
And then she's on the TikTok goes, and she takes her glasses off and she goes, do I look like the kind of girl you would take to a chain restaurant?
Yes.
And I looked at her.
She does.
And I was just like, yeah, you do.
I was thinking, damn, confidence is a real thing because, girl, you sure do look like a girl.
You sure do. You don't look like you can go anywhere other than Cheesecake. Like, where are you going to go looking the way you look? I looked at her outfit and
you're not even like your makeup, like everything. Nothing was like
go to a fancy restaurant.
Nothing was like beat to high heaven. You didn't have a nice outfit. Like you didn't. You had like
it was a casual outfit.
It was a very casual
look. It was giving
look.
Cheesecake vibes when I saw her.
It was giving chain restaurant vibes.
Yeah,
girl, you
like
tripping.
sometimes people were saying that.
And here's the thing.
Chili's.
So here's the thing. That's one thing because I know overall I'm a high maintenance woman.
Okay.
Right. Overall.
Sprinkle.
Right. I know that, but I am not that bougie to where I wouldn't be offended if somebody took me to Cheesecake Factory.
I like Cheesecake Factory.
I like it. Why do you have to go to Perry's or Nick and Sam's?
You don't.
And then at the end of the day, a lot of times I don't like the food as much. So at the end of the day, I'm like, okay. Because I think one time I went on a date and it was to Olive Garden. And he got roasted. Like, people were really roasting him for taking me to Olive Garden. I was like, I like Olive Garden. I had my wine.
Okay, they got some good Moscato, and then they have the breadsticks.
Listen, I mean, to be honest, Olive Garden is one of my favorite places to eat. So I was like, cool.
I actually like Olive Garden.
I like Olive Garden. So I was just like, it's just funny to me. Like, it's not about what you like or if the food's good. It's about this is the image I want to portray and this is the image I need you to give me.
It's definitely about image because, like, I'm big on, like, these fancy steakhouses and stuff. I don't even eat steak.
Like, there you go. I would rather go to Cheesecake Factory than STK.
Because when I go to these steakhouses, I don't eat steak. I
always find that weird.
But for me, it's almost like, okay, it's my birthday or
you're doing it for the experience.
Or it's date night. I feel like we have to go to the nicest steakhouse. And
you can have a night where you're going to the nice place and, you really want to dress up, but there's nothing wrong with going to Cheesecake Factory or Olive Garden or Macaroni Grill or wherever to go have a quick dinner.
I mean, food-wise, I would probably enjoy myself more at Olive because I actually like Italian food.
Right. Their Italian food's good. I enjoy it.
She was just tripping. So I thought that was...
And when I saw the guy, I was thinking the same thing I was like, you don't really like him. You were just trying to get a meal. And then on top of that, you knew what time the reservations were and you let them lapse by your time management.
Yeah.
And she was an hour late looking like that.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you getting ready for? Girl. You barely look like you even put any makeup on.
Yeah. And for him to be able to scramble and get something last minute like that, I mean,
and then he did.
You don't get a lot of options when it's last minute. It's going to be chain restaurants. You're going to be able to do that. It made me laugh
when he was just like, "Are you waiting for me to open the door?"
I know.
I was like, "Well, you should have already did it if you thought that's what she was waiting on."
Yeah.
Well, because she was recording and he was I think he was kind of like,
are you recording? And then he said, "Do you want to talk about it?"
Yeah.
So he was actually a pretty nice guy about the whole situation, if you ask me.
But you do know half the time when you see these little videos, it's fake. It's for clout.
It probably.
I mean, but it did bring up an interesting conversation.
Because there are people who will.
Right.
Act that exact same way.
And there are some women that feel that way, like, oh, no, you're taking me out. You cannot take me to Cheesecake. Like,
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I enjoy Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, I enjoy Cheesecake Factory. I mean, I think there was a debate about whether you should do coffee dates. There's like a debate on that.
No.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, coffee dates, I feel like.
First and foremost, like, I always need a little something to, like, it's a first date. Little liquid courage. Never hurts.
No, coffee dates, it's because it's low effort.
Very low effort. You're not taking me on a morning,
they don't want to
11 o'clock
time or money
date.
in getting to know you is what coffee date is signaling.
Yeah. I don't want a coffee date. I have had guys ask me on a coffee date and I'm like, no. Brunch, sure.
Why though?
Brunch, maybe.
I don't drink coffee. I'm just wondering.
I don't drink coffee like that for period, to be like, I want to go sit down and have coffee for what?
But here's the thing, I don't know.
Let's go have a drink, or let's go have an appetizer somewhere
I've
instead.
been married for so long, so I don't know how this
So the
stuff works.
train
But to me, when it comes to if I was out there dating, I would be okay with a coffee date, because in my mind, I'm thinking it's just coffee.
Real
it's
quick.
going to be real quick. Like, I can
That's the
tell
point.
if we kind of connect before I do
Invest
dinner.
the whole.
Which the
But
whole
it's not about it. I just want to know, do we connect first before
You
we go
vibe.
do dinner? Like, yeah.
So that's okay. So the train of
Is
thought
that
now, as far as
wrong?
modern dating, is you're gonna know if you connect via your communications prior to the date, whether you have good conversation,
could
text
be-
messages,
Sure, but I've also
misconstrued.
connected
talk on the
Very-
phone.
I've connected with
But-
people online,
but-
and then when we meet in person, no.
So what they're from, like I said, I've seen dating coaches saying, hey, when you see coffee date, most of the times, and this is from male dating coaches, it's because they really not that interested in you and don't want to invest time and money in getting to know you.
To me, it's the time. I don't want to take my evening. Mornings are easy to give up. You know, mid-afternoons are easy to give up. The evenings, not so much.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel like it really boils down to.
I think
the time.
it goes down to, if you're not really interested in investing the time and money either, then maybe coffee date will be fine for you. But for the train of thought is that it's low investment with time, like I said, with time or money.
Yeah.
So that way, if it doesn't work out, you feel like I haven't lost anything.
Because I feel like if I was going to go on a date and it's somebody I don't know if I would be interested in, I wouldn't even want to do coffee, because that's a little too like, oh my God, I have to just sit here and stare at you and talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't even have like food to play around with.
So,
But
yeah.
anyway, so that's really our chokeholds for the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't have a chokehold. My chokehold was our main topic, but we were like, it's the main
That's
topic.
main topic energy.
We are
right
going to
there.
take a break and come right back in and talk about some Jada.
I'm gonna refill my drink.
Jada. All right, Jada.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay, we are back, and we're just going to get right into this tea, guys. So Jada Pinkett-Smith, I guess technically still, came out. She has a tell-all book that she's coming out with. When is that? Did the book already drop?
I can look it up and see when it will come out, but it's called Worthy.
I think it already came out, because I actually looked on my Audible today, and it was saying that
probably
I could purchase.
pre-order.
Okay, so she's coming out with the book, and so now she's decided to do an interview on
She's doing
NBC.
a press run, actually.
Complete press run. And all of a sudden you see headlines, Jada Pinkett-Smith and Will Smith have been separated or living separately for 7 years.
Okay.
Huh?
They have been completely separate. We
Huh?
watched it. Did you watch the interview last night?
Yes, I watched it this morning.
Okay.
Yeah. So 7 years. And so it just obviously brought up a whole shitstorm of stuff with people talking about it, because it's just like, Jada, please give us a break.
Like living separate lives since 2016.
Completely
Like,
separate lives
completely
since
separate
2016. So we're talking 7 years. I mean, and they were married, 20? So that's a good run, but still. So all of this
Together even longer.
boils
but
down
yeah.
to, so I know when I was doing my podcast with my last friend, we talked about the slap. I had a pretty strong opinion about the fact that, you know, he's a grown man, and it's not Jada's fault that he did that. I do stand by that part. I do stand by that. He's still a grown man. He still had his actions that he did, so he needs to take the consequences of it. The other stuff, I'm like, Jada, I'm so over you. You can go. I want out the group chat. I want out. Okay. I just feel like she's just looking for attention, clout, trying to get this book promoted, and just like, you keep putting Will in this very negative light. He just looks like, as our cousin says, a simp. He just looks bad over and over again. And it's her making him look bad.
And also, she said in the interview that whenever Will was like, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth, she was like, they haven't used those terms for each other in years because they're not together.
Well, why
So she
even
was
put
like,
that out there when
she
you
couldn't
know
understand,
that
like,
the
why he
whole
would even
point
say
is
that.
you guys were supposed to be a united front. He's like, he held up his end of the bargain of the united front, and she didn't. Because I guarantee you, other people, they were sleeping with other people. Both of them were sleeping with other people. He just kept his stuff a little bit more silent. The guy came out. You were getting heat. August Alsteen, if you guys don't know.
Which at that point, that would have been a good time to say, guys, we are living separate lives. We're not together.
Exactly.
Why come out here in front about it was no damn entanglement. Y'all were together.
There
you
was
were in
no
a relationship
reason.
with August. It was not an entanglement because Will was not involved because y'all not together. Like, why carry on this charade, this lie?
That's my point. To me, if you were going to come out about this separation,
look at Jillian. Like,
Jillian has a very different opinion on
waiting
Jada.
to get her thoughts.
But to me, why even come out with this now?
Why now?
When the world was coming for you and saying that you were this and that, you were like, I'm gonna double down on this lie, double down on this like the situation we have going on, and I'm not even gonna say it. I'm just gonna bring him on the show, which he says he asked to be on the show. Which again, how do I know?
He was just trying to have her back.
At this point, how am I to know what's even truthful coming out of your mouth?
I don't believe
you've been lying
Jada
to me for 7 years, and you said calculating how you're going to make it look to the public like you're a couple. So I know you can be a calculated
Did you
individual. So I don't believe you. At this point, I feel like you're just trying to make yourself look better.
Yeah, there was a clip where she was on Andy Cohen, Watch What Happens Live, and he was asking her how long they've been married, and she was like 20-something years, and he was like, he said, how do y'all keep it? Like,
and she said, I don't know.
She's like, how do y'all keep it steamy? And she's like, I'm like, girl, like, to me, I feel like, almost like, okay, if you're still not ready to divorce him now, why even come out and say anything?
Again, there is. Why else would you have come out about this now? Because it's in the book. It's in the book. You told the world then. Why didn't you tell the world a year ago? A year ago. Literally just happened last year. Last year.
I don't know.
Okay, you over here, and then don't even get me started on the whole situation with the August Alston, because I thought that was disgusting.
No. Yes, because she manipulated him. That was supposed to be her son.
It's not even a manipulation thing. It's
friend.
not a manipulation thing, because I don't think she manipulated him into the relationship. He's just a younger.
Do you know
he literally had abandonment issue with his family who did not want him around.
His sister had
brought
passed
him
away
into the home
to help him,
to say that he's like one of my children.
Exactly.
And then you start fucking him.
She was supposed to be helping him mentally. He had mental issues.
And then when he clings to you and falls in love with you, you're like, oh my God. I can't believe you fell in love. Well, what did you think? He was a damaged bird when you got him.
Let me get my point across before Jill takes over, because she's waiting.
Yeah,
she's waiting patiently. She
she
has her arms crossed. My thing with Jada is this. I don't know what her obsession with Tupac is. I really don't. I understand
They've been friends for a long time, I don't fault her for the friendship.
I understand they were friends. But for me, it's like, okay, 1 minute you're like, he's my soulmate. The next minute you're like, well, we had no chemistry. Then you're like, he proposed to me when he was in jail, but I didn't want to be like waiting for him to come out of Rikers. I'm like, girl, which one is it? Is he your soulmate? He proposed to you, or y'all don't have no chemistry? And the fact that it's so much time has passed. Like when
I don't know.
The interview started, when I was watching it last night, like the first 10, 15 minutes was all about her and Tupac. And
I actually, when you said that, I was like, when I watched it, I was like, it wasn't actually that much about Tupac.
Okay, but for me, it's like you make it seem like Tupac was this girl. Nobody even knew y'all were a thing. Like, y'all weren't even a thing back then. So like, why do you claim him and grasp onto him so much? Like, you're in love with a ghost, and you're talking about some.
To me, the Tupac is just her.
She's weird.
That's her friendship. Whatever. My thing, in general, with this whole entire topic is, why do you keep putting Will out there to dry? It's not even that you're not doing anything to him. You just keep putting him out there to dry. I thought this was supposed to be somebody you love.
Honestly, I think Jada
is your partner.
I think she hasn't divorced. This is my opinion, Jillian. I'm allowed to have one. This is probably not true. In my opinion, okay, I feel like the reason Jada is still with Will now, because if Jada meets a man tomorrow the reason why she won't divorce Will now is because it's almost like a fallback. If years from now she doesn't meet someone else that fills her cup or whatever, then it's like, okay, I have Will in my back pocket. Like, I'll just go back to, like, back to Will type thing.
I don't know.
If she
I don't
meets
think I know.
somebody tomorrow that she truly connects with, because
I don't think we really know the reason why they haven't fully divorced. I don't think we really know.
Because
but that's a whole part of my whole
she
reason.
has nothing going
You're not
on.
really going to be fully truthful with us, so why even tell us anything?
I don't think
Don't tell me nothing. Keep that shit to yourself.
I don't think she's truthful with Will. I think she probably gives him false hopes, and
I don't know. I can't form that opinion.
I don't know. I just feel like she has nothing going on. She uses Will for clout half the time, which is what she's doing now. This book is about you. Why is it so focused on Will and all this type of stuff? So I'm
mostly
just
about Will.
I'm just like, you know what, girl? Just okay.
But
you don't
I will
want him,
say,
let him go.
I will say, I still stand by the Oscars. I don't think she should be blamed for his actions.
She should not.
I still stand by that part.
She had nothing to do with it, because if you watch the interview, she did say that at first she was thinking it was a skit, maybe.
But at
like,
the same
she was
time,
so
it's hard to believe Jada. It's hard to believe her at this point.
While this was all happening,
know.
Chris
You're a
walked
liar.
over and was like, "I did not mean to offend you," and she was like, "No, this is about some old stuff," because she could not understand why. She herself was like, she didn't understand.
I can't
why Will
imagine
did
it was
that.
even about that. Come on now.
Who
cares? Y'all been separated for 7 years at that point. Who cares?
Well, she also said in another interview that.
But I think he loves her, and I think she had been hurt in the past by comments like that.
But she also said in 2016, when people got wind of them like having marital problems and stuff, like he tried to talk to her. Chris Rock tried to talk to her.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that was 7 years ago. Move on. Like, I can't imagine that's what made. And so in the interview when they were talking about the Oscars and how a lot of people had come on stage and been doing like extra, like have been bringing.
Yeah.
So
She thought it was a skit.
It also made it make more sense on why he felt so inclined to go up there and do whatever he did. Like, oh well, we're all having fun, or we're all doing whatever we want. This is not the typical Oscars, because they were saying basically the hosts were being very unconventional.
So that's why he went up there and slapped him?
Well, I don't know why he slapped him, but I think he felt comfortable enough to do it, because so many people had done it.
Comfortable enough to go abuse somebody?
To walk up on the stage and do whatever he was doing.
He assaulted the man.
He did assault him.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with Will that night.
I honestly don't know why
I don't know if he didn't take his
it was
meds that day or what.
That was just too far. I was like, come on.
All
like,
right,
of course you were going to get in trouble
Jill
for that.
has been so patient. Let's get her in. Come on, Jill.
Okay.
According to Julian, we hate Jada. I was like, I don't even know her enough to hate her, but go ahead.
Okay, so the reason why I'm letting them talk is because I knew this was going to be a 2-on-1 situation where they weren't going to convince me of their point, and I wasn't going to convince them of my point, because clearly this is a deep issue they have with Jada. Why, I don't know. But
No, it's not.
Wait, hold on.
Not clearly. Don't
Hold on.
put something on me like that.
Hold on.
I don't like that,
I let you talk. So here's my opinion on Jada as far as what's going on between her and Will. I will have to say, people are asking why she's saying this now. Because she's ready. She's comfortable. She's now owning her truth. She's allowed to do that. She gets to dictate the timeline in which she makes this part of her life public. People's like, well, you're lying. She might not have been comfortable making this part of her life public. I feel like with her and Will, and she did say this in the interview on NBC, is that they had an idea of what their marriage should have been, and they just weren't able to obtain the dream. And I think a lot of people, they didn't want to disappoint the public. And I think maybe there's a little bit of shame in the fact that they failed at their marriage.
I think they were the existential black couple of the early 90s and 90s, and I think that is a part of it. Correct.
I think that's a part of it.
I agree with
and
that.
So, and people were, I'm getting different opinions. And probably somebody said that, you know what, they actually went back and read Will's autobiography, and they were like, Will actually already said this. We just weren't listening.
Where?
So
Julian got receipts.
This girl has a whole printout.
So as far as
Highlights,
timeline,
y'all.
this is when he was promoting his book. He said,
and I quote,
What year was that?
I can't remember, but this is when
well, while you're looking for what you...
this is between their book and their sit down on a red table talk. This is an article from BuzzFeed that in the episode, Jada said that the hardest time in their marriage happened when she turned 40.
Right.
she said that we essentially had to destroy our marriage. This is what Will said. We essentially had to destroy our marriage. She was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, she said she was done.
To me, it was over, but divorce was never an option. This is Will saying this. She's telling you, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's over. This is from 2011 when she turned 40.
You can't do this anymore. You won't divorce me.
And then that's what Will said, with Jada further confirming that divorce wasn't what either of them wanted.
Okay, so
either of them wanted. He said either.
Either of them wanted, yes, either. So at the end of the day, like I said, if they're living, if they're this is on the Red Table Talk when they were talking about after everything would. And then Kenley, Will even added, I was devastated, even worse than a divorce. We broke up within our marriage and got back together and had to rebuild with new rules and something way completely different.
That was a lie also.
That's
a lie.
No, they rebuilt something different. That does not mean that they're together romantically.
They're not together at all, she said. They're completely separate.
They're still partners. They're still a family. And August Alsina said this too when he described the situation with Jada. He said that when he was talking to Angela Yee, it said that they're not together. He said they're not together. They just have this life partnership, which at the end of the day, I think they want to be there for each other and be in each other's lives, be friends, but just not romantically together. They're partners in the sense that they have a family together.
Cool. So you're partners. So why do you keep hanging him out to dry?
Hang him out to dry to what? She's telling her truth.
Saying that y'all are married and having entanglements with people.
She's not telling her
legally,
truth.
They're
now
married.
She is, but that whole time
she's ready.
So because she's comfortable and she's ready, fuck what he feels. Fuck what he needs. Fuck what his perception.
At the end of the day, Jada's responsible for Jada. Jada has to live in her truth. Jada has to.
She doesn't
find
though.
her way, her path, and her path.
Though. She doesn't live in her truth. She lies, and she literally says she calculates and formulates a whole entire story to give to the media and us.
No, what I'm saying is...
So, no, you don't live in your truth.
What I am trying to say is that she's trying to get there. She's trying to, I guess, remove
by any means necessary and knocking out anybody in her path.
Truthfully, she told the truth. We're not together anymore. We're not together anymore.
She did. Now we know.
I mean, I'm waiting for Will to make a statement at this point.
At the end of the day...
He's not going to say anything.
He's not going to say anything.
He doesn't clout chase.
At the end of the day, I was finding it funny because she has determined when, how, and where she determines to tell this story. And somebody had said this point on TikTok, and they find it sick that people do this. I'm like, we go on TMZ, Shade Room, Neighborhood Talk, Hollywood Unlocked. We go to E! News and all these gossip blogs. And when people's lives are exposed without their consent, we consume that. The Kardashians, we consume that shit over and over again when we're seeing this shit on TV. But when Jada decides to expose her truth on her terms, her way, why can't she just shut up?
Viscerally,
why can't she just shut up?
What?
And at the end of the day, I find it funny. It's just like, I'm just like, she's allowed to. Maybe she wasn't ready. Maybe she was ashamed.
As you should have, because at the end of the day, if you wanted to go and have this relationship with this man and it came out to light, why do you have to lie on Will about it? Why do you have to lie about Will about it? Why lie on him?
At the end of the
lie on him?
Wait, hold up.
Why
wait a
lie
minute.
on him?
Pause 1 minute.
Own your truth.
No, Janice.
We were not together.
Absolutely not, Janice. We're not making Will a victim because he was right there lying.
Absolutely we are.
No, we're not.
Yeah, absolutely we are. I just did it.
At the end of the day, Will was lying too.
I think he was lying.
Will was lying too.
Because for her.
He was coming out for her, going on her little raggedy ass show. Sitting at that damn raggedy ass table.
He didn't have to.
Looking like
at the end of the day,
a shell of himself.
Looked terrible.
A shell.
At the end of the day, because y'all hate Jada, y'all feel like
I don't hate
y'all were hating.
I think she's a liar.
You're saying that Will lied to protect Jada, but Jada is not lying to protect Will.
No, I don't think
Jada
so.
lied to protect herself.
I think whatever she has on Will, she's like, you gonna keep lying.
What do you think she has on Will, y'all?
She got something on that man.
There's
no reason why he would sit there and just get embarrassed over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Embarrassed, and that's the part I'm like, embarrassed how? They're not together.
Table talk was embarrassing.
She had
for
a
him.
whole
Period.
because
Jillian, did you watch the interview?
relationship.
Or did you not? Think
She's
that was
allowed to. They're not
embarrassing?
together.
But we
Jillian.
did not know that. And then she
It don't
goes,
matter. It's
well,
not-
I
it's not
had
for
an
you to know.
Entanglement.
It wasn't you.
No,
So
girl.
why
it wasn't,
come on TV?
it
Why
wasn't
go on your show and
because
continue to
August
lie
and
to
Cena
me?
put their shit on Front
Why-
Street.
Guess what?
If
That
August
So
and Cena,
ignore
let me
it.
tell you this right now.
Ignore it.
No. If
Don't
August and
double
Cena,
down on your
if
lies.
August and Cena had kept his mouth shut, we would never have heard about any of this shit.
And that would have been what we preferred.
Truth be
Okay,
told,
then just say that.
the rumors
Preferred.
were already out before August even
And
said
they-
anything.
they did
But
not address
He
anything.
was so hurt. August was
Okay.
so tore up. That's why he spoke
Okay.
his truth.
But of course,
Exactly.
he was hurt.
So when he speaks his truth, it's cool. But when Jada's like,
Jillian,
she didn't speak her
Jillian, do you
truth.
know
She
his
came out and
August
lied.
Alstein's history?
she said that we
Jillian,
had an entanglement. We had a
Jillian,
relationship.
it wasn't an
Jillian.
entanglement.
We weren't together.
You had a full-on relationship
Jillian,
with this
do you
child.
know his circumstances of how he came to be with the Smith family?
He was
No.
friends with the son, with her son.
She didn't mean it. Okay, what's the
She's supposed to
circumstances?
be
So
mentoring
from
him.
from my understanding, what the circumstances is he had a damage or his family had disowned him.
Okay.
They did not want to speak
And he
to him.
lost his
He was
sister.
abandoned by his family.
Okay.
So his friend of the same age decided, hey, I know you're down and out on your luck. Come live with us. Oh, we'll treat you like family. And she admitted for years they treated him like a son. A son.
He went on vacations
A
and stuff,
son.
with them.
A son. How you go from treating somebody like a child and a son to a sexual relationship?
I don't know.
That's
'Cause at the end of the-
because I guarantee you, if it was a 47-year-old man and a 21-year-old girl with the same
that's not the okay. First of all,
She was 40. He was like 21 or something.
Okay.
No,
40.
I looked at the timeline. So she met him at the music festival because she went there to see Will and Jaden perform. That's when they first met, and he was 22 when they met.
And she was 40.
Yes, 40.
I don't want a 40-year-old messing with my 22-year-old
That's fine.
child.
You can, no. Here's the thing.
that's
You
fine.
can do that. You
That's
can do that.
fine.
Just like you
At
can
the
be.
end of the day-
Just like you can be. Like,
hold on.
Hold on.
So, like I said,
Hold
I
on.
understand that. Wait, hold on.
Let me finish.
No, I let you.
You literally just asked me to explain the situation. I haven't been able to finish it.
Hold on.
But okay.
I let you talk for
You did
quite
not
a
let.
bit.
You asked me
Guys.
to explain the situation with August.
Okay, so the whole situation, I feel like if Kira came home, she's 25. She came home with a 45-year-old.
24. She said don't age her. She always
24, and she came home with a 44-year-old. 20-year age difference. Would I say I had that relationship?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Same thing with
This is
Jada
what we're
and
not gonna
August.
do.
But I will say this: if she says that, hey, I have a connection, I want to be this person, I will take her for her word.
No.
Would I be?
No.
I would take her for her word because I
No.
feel like at the end of the day, they're both adults.
We literally have talked about
They're
it on
both
the
adults.
show.
There is going to
about
be-
how when an older man is with a younger woman, how that's a
don't
You
gender
literally
that.
have. You have.
If you let me finish,
Ooh,
when
not
I
the
say,
table knock.
all I gotta say is
she
is
loves
that
Jada.
there is going to be a power dynamic when you're older because you're more experienced, you're not as naive. I understand that. I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, because you've said this before, oh, he's a predator. He manipulated her. I do not see that. I
Feel like on top of his trauma situation
all got
with
trauma.
his family.
Well, then Jada's
and you
got
brought
trauma.
him in and treated him like
And
a son. It's the
end of the
it's when you
day, I
quote
think-
saying you treated somebody like a son.
No.
And then you start
At the
sleeping
end
with
of the
them.
day,
That's the weird part to me.
I think at the end of the day, I think they trauma bonded because Jada has the same issues.
And you're the older person, and you should be responsible.
And she has kids. She should know better.
Period.
At the end of the day, they trauma bonded with each other because
You're the older one.
with everything that happened with her mother, and then her
Be
being
more
raised.
intellectually smart.
All right, so I guess
Just like I would say that to a man.
I guess at the end of the day, for y'all, Jada's a predator. I don't see it
I
that
didn't
way.
say that.
That's
I was
whatever
gonna
it
say,
is.
You think
I
she's
think
trauma? You think she's trauma bonded? What if she was just like being a freaky old lady?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
That's so far out of left field.
I'm just saying.
It is what it is, but like I said, at the end of the day, I feel like Jada, she gets to live her life on her terms. I
So
don't
in
judge
your
her.
opinion, Jada's unscathed. She's done nothing wrong. She's been a crystal clear,
She's living
pristine
in her
princess in this
truth.
whole
No,
situation.
I didn't say that.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, I want to give her more grace.
Okay.
In a way that I don't think the media or the public has. Is she perfect? No. No one is. We all make mistakes, but I feel like everyone wants to put the blame all on her, and I don't think that's fair. Does she own some of the blame? Absolutely. Why she felt it necessary? Why they felt it necessary that even if to make a public statement like, "Hey, we are not divorcing, but we have decided to separate and live separate lives." Yes, it would have sounded dumb at the time. Same way Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow talking about we have made an unconscious coupling. That's not for me. And like I said, this is my position. It's not for me to judge. You guys are going to figure out what works for you as a couple. Okay. Whether that means that you're together, not together, maybe you are together, maybe not romantically, still friends, whatever. They get to define their own family. And I just feel like at the end of the day, I guess the reason why I go so hard for her, because I feel like, especially as a fellow Black woman, I feel like we're not allowed the grace that others are given as a default. And I feel like we have to be perfection at all the time. We are not allowed to make mistakes. And sometimes I feel bad for him. Like, damn, can't we stumble and fall and make mistakes, recover and learn from those mistakes? Which I really do feel that every day she's striving to be better, do better, learn how to learn how to deal with her past. And so that way she'll have a better future.
What makes you feel like that? What is
I like I said, just listening.
Writing a book.
I honestly, based on the interviews, I probably will try and read the book. And also because I did watch a lot of the Red Table Talk episodes. And I connected with her. Like, she's pretty much saying, and I think it's so beautiful that she chose to name the book Worthy. Because I think a lot of times internally, sometimes the way she talks about it is sometimes the way I feel. Like sometimes inside I feel like, damn, I want to be happy mentally and just emotionally. I'm not there yet. I don't feel it.
Right.
And I sometimes when I look at her, I feel like.
So you're connecting with her story of what she's saying.
Yes.
Is the reason why she's behaving this way.
She was trying to say, I have this amazing husband, kids, have money. I'm not where I was because she had a rough life growing up in Baltimore. I should be happy, but she's not. And she's trying to figure out why can't I just be happy? Why can't I figure this out? And I think she's in that place. And I feel like, damn, I feel the same way too, where you're just like, I don't know how to fix it.
I understand that. And I hear what you're saying, and it's clearly resonating with you, and it's making you emotional. But she needs to go get help other places than trying to find validation in the wrong places. Go find validation. Go speak to somebody. I'm sure she's in therapy. Well, that doesn't mean that you can, be this wrecking ball through other people's life because you're not happy with who you are.
Well, she also said that she fixed herself when she was doing the psychedelics. She said that it really helped her.
And she said that's the reason why she did it. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. Okay. And thank you, Jillian, because I do feel like that was real. That was raw. Yes,
I see you connect. Yes, I see that. Yes.
Why you feel this way. And that was actually one of the things I was going to bring up, because I feel like in my opinion, since we've been doing the podcast, it's like you connect with people who you feel like you can see yourself in. And sometimes you, not blind, but you become a little less aware of those other things that, as a human, they can definitely bring to the table too. We're all we're not perfect. And that means we make really bad decisions. And when you say she's taking ownership, my opinion is when?
She has not taken ownership.
When? I don't remember seeing her take ownership. I've seen her say, well, Will and I weren't this, and Will and I weren't that, and we didn't do this, so that's why this happened. And at this time, I wanted to feel love, so that's why I did this with August. And during the Oscars, he heard some, I don't know why he did that, because, it might have been something in the past, and I only did it for other people. It's never about how she's feeling. Because to her, she said she didn't really care. She only eye rolled for other people with alopecia. Okay, where's the owner? You're not even taking ownership about feeling hurt about a comment about alopecia that you felt hurt about. You're not even taking ownership of that.
Yeah, I think she had owned that and say, hey, it is what it is. And if it was just about her, I feel she would have been like, okay, whatever.
She rolled the way her eye roll looked. She would have been the eye roll was like, how dare you? You're being an asshole.
She could be struggling. And like I said, I just feel like at the end of the day, I'm going to write a little bit harder for her in the way that, like I said, I feel as Black women.
That's what I was going to say.
The responsibility when it comes to this is especially in the Black community, everything always lands on our shoulders.
That's what I was going to say. You give, yes, and we don't get as much grace, but you give a lot of grace
Can
to
I just say
people
this?
of color and women of color, even when I feel like they have huge blinking red lights and it's just not good. Like what they're doing is not good. Okay. So I think when you say, you know, you're backing Black women, I think that's really all it boils down to for you.
Okay, let me just get this in and I'll just stop because I'm just a little too tipsy for this conversation right now. But okay, for me, when it comes to Jada and Will, it's really hard for me to say anything negatively about, because basically I'm only hearing from Jada. So if I have strong opinions on anything or anyone, it's going to be Jada, because I haven't heard, he's not coming out contradicting himself. He's not coming out saying things. He's not doing, the only person really talking here is Jada. So when people are coming for Jada, is because you're putting all your shit out there. So who else?
And I think she wants to put it out there because I feel like she wants her voice to be heard, which is fine. But again,
we can only come for her.
My whole thing is, if you guys say you're a united front, if you say this is your partner, if this is the man you say you love, have his back. I don't feel like she's had his back in any of it.
Right. At the end of the day,
and he's
Will already had his biography. And it's already confirmed.
I don't see him on a press run.
And he still didn't put their business out in the street like that.
Just because
like that.
Okay, so when Will
he alluded to something.
Wait.
Which means he wasn't trying to live in his delusion.
He wasn't alluding at anything. And that's why I pulled this article with quotations. This is what Will said, word for word.
In a book.
And this, when he was writing in this book, he goes,
what year? What year?
This is from his autobiography, which was released in 2021. He wrote in the book, our marriage wasn't working. We could no longer pretend. We were both miserable and clearly something had to change. And they said in an interview with GQ, Will further confirmed that he and Jada weren't monogamous, saying that the experiences, that the freedoms that we've given one another and the unconditional support to me is the highest definition of love.
That's to me, that was the graceful way to basically tell the truth without putting all your business on blast.
And what Jada is saying, hey, we've been separated.
So again, why not say that in 2022?
We're not living together. We're not romantic, but I'm still there to support him. When he asked me to go to the Oscars, I said, absolutely, I will be there.
You said you were going to support him about the slap because she said straight up, I was going to have his back. You didn't.
In what way was she? What way would you have liked him to have Will's back in regards to that behavior?
That is, I mean, talk about how this is completely out of character. This is not my husband. She basically was like, he's wrong. I just can't believe he did that. I'm like, talk more about mental health and maybe he was not in the right state of mind. Talk about that.
At the end of the day, and this is
so
what
again,
this is the end of the day.
Having his back.
And it's funny in the group chat, our cousin said, "Well, Jillian, if I ever saw somebody in your honor, please don't throw me underneath the bus." And I'm like, I do not condone violence. I understand where she's coming from. At the end of the day, and this is back when we were talking about the Oscars and the slap, at the end of the day, Will was out of pocket. That was not Jada's responsibility. She does not have to condone that behavior. She doesn't have to make excuses for that behavior.
Stand by his side, though. Stand by his side.
Sometimes
it's the person you love. Supposedly.
No, I'm sorry, Janice, but there are times where
there would be things you would do that would be wrong, and I would still stand by your side, even if as I'm standing by your side, I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with it. But she's my sister. Doing. No, that's not what she did. That's not what she did. So, okay.
She literally
perfect scenario. Hang him out to dry and put him on a cross.
Okay, so perfect scenario. What would you have liked Jada to have done? What would have been the perfect response to this behavior?
To have his back, which would have been so instead of going on press conferences talking about how I don't know what's wrong with him, I don't condone that. It's just, I would be like, of course I don't condone violence, but this is the man I love. This is the man I've been with for 20 years. This is something that he would never have done. Something was going on that night that maybe we all don't fully understand, but we have had our private conversations about it. I know Will wants to do better.
I like that.
That's not what she said.
Okay, and when we watched the Hoda Kotb interview, and she talked about when Chris came over and he clearly was upset.
She was so confused.
She said that this was out of character for Will, and she was still trying to process why it happened. I think she's still trying to process.
Till this day,
Fine.
now she's
That's
just, I mean,
fine.
even on
She
the
was
interview
talking
last
about-
week-
But again, while you're trying to process, maybe not put the person that you say you love out there to dry.
Okay.
He's already getting it. He's going to get consequences. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
y'all don't feel tipsy?
No.
We do. I
don't. At the end of the day, like I said, I am interested to read the book and just kind of see her. Like I said, I've always felt like I said, I've always felt a connection. I feel like, okay, so because she's not that much older than me. She's only but 10.
She's 47, I thought, right now.
I don't know. Will is 52, so she may be.
She's not that much older than me, and I feel like, okay, so
She's a lot
she
older
doesn't
than
have
you.
it. She doesn't have life figured out, and maybe I don't have to have it figured out right now too. So that's just my end of the day. I'm always going to give her grace, even when others don't. So.
Because again, you feel an affinity to her, and
She's
that's fine.
52 years old, by the way.
Oh
Jada.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She's
So she's
still,
a good
she's
amount.
still
Much
trying to figure it out.
older than
So
you.
makes me not feel as bad that I don't have it figured out yet.
Right. But
I personally think you and Jada have nothing in common. I don't think you move the way she moves. I think you are.
But we have different
I think
backgrounds.
she does. She's an actress. Keep that in mind. I think she does a very
I think
good
you're
job.
more of an authentic person. I think you speak your truth. I can't imagine you pretending for years like
No,
that and looking your
absolutely
family
not.
and other people in the face
No.
lying. Like I just don't see it.
That for sure I could not.
I feel like
do.
you live in
And
your
part of
truth.
it probably was part of the reason why she said she was struggling. When you're hiding that much of your life from the world, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't, but then again, I'm not a public figure. And I think sometimes when I feel like when some people lie and don't want to reveal the truth is because they're afraid of,
yes,
they're afraid of the backlash and the consequences and the judgment. And so
if it hadn't
I
been
get
7
that.
years of lying, I could understand. If it was like we've been separated for a
2 years.
year,
She ain't gotta lie
2
no more.
years, that
Well-
would be different. 7 years, like okay, you purposely want a certain image of yourself, and of course it's going to affect you because you're lying constantly.
Yeah.
well,
but-
you know what?
Well, hopefully,
she's
like-
done. She's done lying now, and hopefully Will can find her
Well-
a nice little young.
Well, I
hot
hope she
girl.
finds happiness too.
I hope
somebody.
both of them find happiness. How about
Yes.
that? I
Yes.
hope both of them find happiness. I feel like
I just don't think
at
she's
the
gonna
end
find
of-
happiness.
At the end of this, maybe based off of Jillian's opinions, maybe we can find a little bit more of a soft light for Jada. Maybe we've enlightened Jillian to some of the issues Jada has. She's not perfect. Okay.
No, she's not.
She's not. She's wrong. I think she's been wrong in a lot of the situations that she's been in recently. And I feel like she just is constantly trying to do damage control and it's just not working. So that's just my opinion on it. Me and Jada, I'm not a big fan of Jada
I'm
right
not
now,
either.
but I did have her back during the slap. I didn't feel like she should be blamed for it happening.
She shouldn't be.
That's what I agree with.
Okay.
Hopefully she goes away now. The book is coming out.
Yeah,
She's
go away.
doing her press run. Go away, girl.
Like, I want out.
I still want Red Table Talk because she did
It's
have
gone.
a lot of it. Yeah, because Facebook canceled it. But hopefully she finds another platform.
I hope not.
I thought it
hope
was
so.
interesting. I thought the stuff that
did.
wasn't about her direct life
Yes.
was interesting.
I think
There
she
was
had
some
a
good
lot
topics.
of lot of great guests, a lot of great topics that I really found interesting and
I like that it was
enlightening.
with her mom and her daughter. So
Yes.
it's like different
Now,
generational
you know who I do?
perspectives.
You know who I do like? Her mother.
Yes, Gammy. I love Gammy.
Oh, Jada's mom.
Yes.
She a real one.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
But again, like I said, I feel like it was a rough one, but we got there. I feel like we got to more of a calm place with this discussion.
Yeah, this was definitely. We knew this was going to be an emotional topic.
Oh, I'm real calm. This little drink got me feeling
Stacey's
really good.
chilling, girl. Okay, so anyways, we're gonna get out of here, get to our rest of our Saturday. We're about to do a little scary movie night, so we're gonna talk to you guys later. Bye.
Leave us comments below. Let us know what you think about this whole situation.
Absolutely, we want to hear.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm Jillian. I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the platform you're listening on and leave us a review.
We want to support local businesses, so if you'd like us to shout out your business, or if you have a topic suggestion, or even questions for our QA section, we want to hear from you. So reach out to us at letmefinish@gmail.com.
You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Let Me Finish. Don't forget that the E in me is the number 3. You can find me at New Jillian Who Dis on Instagram.
Stacy, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Mrs. Cams01. I'm also on TikTok, Mrs. Cams01, MRSKAMS01.
And Janice, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Uniquely Janice and Facebook and TikTok. I'm just Janice Housen.
Okay. See you next week.
See you next week.
See you guys then.